Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today I'm going to go over planting seedlings in my basement to get them ready for spring this year. So it's about March 10th right now. I have a couple weeks, or probably 4 weeks before the ground is really ready for planting. I have a big garden that I'm planting this year, which I'll show you, and I need to start some seeds inside. So let me go walk you through that process. I'm not going to be using my castings in this process because there is a risk to that I keep hearing about online, and that is the risk of introducing pathogens or something from your compost. So the risk should be pretty minimal with castings, but I don't want to take that chance. So I am using a seed starting kit from the store, and actually I've got it right here. This is the Burpee seed starting kit. So I bought this at the store, and that's what we're going to use. So let's go and let me show you how this works and where I'm going to be setting this up to try to get these seedlings to grow. Before we start, let me just go over what I'm planning to plant in the garden here. So I've got sunflowers in the back row. I don't think I'll have quite this many. I think this is a different variety that I'm using, which is mammoth or giant sunflowers. I've got some lavender. I have some broccoli, cantaloupe, lettuce, peppers, blueberry, and cucumber. Now, out of these, there are a few things that I do need to start indoors. The lavender needs to be started indoors, and that's going to go, actually, this is going to be where the straw bales are going to go to block off so I can backfill this area with maybe some no-till gardening. I need to start the broccoli indoors, and I need to start the peppers indoors. So the lavender is pretty accurate as far as it might not need quite this many plants, but I'm still going to plant quite a few. Broccoli, 4 is about right. Peppers, 4 are about right. So I'm going to start with more than 4 seeds just to make sure, but the lavender is going to be the big one where I think I'm going to need a whole lot of trays here. So here is the Burpee system that I was telling you about. This has the cocoa coir already in it. And the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to flip over and show you the directions here, which go like this for you guys. And I'm going to kind of get this ready. So let me back up here just a little bit here. Whoops. So this is the directions that we're going to follow. And let's go and take a look here at the system. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take out this tray right here. And as you can see, we have all of these little guys all lined up already. Now let me just pull that up here. It has a mat in here. And just so you guys can see, so everyone can see here, if I pull one of these up, if I grab it, there's a big hole in the bottom of these. So the water can just drain right out, or it can be sucked up into here, which is the plan. So this right here is the mat. It has a little stick right here for planting. And it looks like if I can get this up now, a way to mark off where things go, what you planted. Now I'm going to be doing this I think the simple way, but for right now, this goes in here. Let me just make sure I'm doing this quite right here, based on the directions. I'm going to move this off to the side here. So I've got this in here. This is a tray that holds everything up. Then you have your seed mat here. I'm not sure which way this is supposed to go. I'm guessing it looks like it's supposed to go this way based on the picture. So I think I'm going to put it in that way, which is the seed mat here. I'm going to bend this down. It's not quite the right depth here. Let's bend it right here. And this is supposed to suck up the water and bring it up to the seedlings, and this way it can water over a long period of time. There we go. Now I got it in. Let me get this other side in here. Now, I do like the idea of watering from the bottom here, so that way I don't have quite as many issues. You can just put in as much water as you want. It's going to slowly soak in. This, of course, has a lid that goes on top of it too, which is underneath here, actually. Let me grab that right now. So there's the lid. And this lid, this is the way this sits, and then this lid would be right on top to allow the greenhouse effect. It doesn't latch on, it just sort of sits on top. And as we get this filled with water, it's gonna go pretty quick here. So the first part is we need to add water, and it says to add warm water here. This is nice warm water that I have in my pitcher here, and we're just gonna soak all these with some warm water. Now, unfortunately, the water's probably gonna run out of here, but that's okay. I can always add more, but let's just get these soaking wet. And this is cocoa coir, so I know that it can absorb a lot of water. So we're going to get these really soaking here. And this is warm, as I said, warm water, because you want to use warm water, I found, with cocoa coir and everything. There we go. You can see that this one's really sprouted up quite a bit. So Some of these not quite as much as the others. Some of this water is running out a little bit too quickly for them, I think. Actually, you know what we might do here? I think we're going to switch this around. I'm going to lift this up. It doesn't say how to do this exactly, but I'm going to switch this up here. I'm going to take this off of here. We're going to let this run right into there. And let me move my seeds out of the way that I've got to the side here. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take this out, put this off to the side, and put this tray right in here so that way you can soak up the water directly. And that way they're all sitting in water and will actually expand. Let's get these back in here. So, learning experience. I've never tried one of these trays before. I've tried lots of other ways, but I've never really been very successful, I have to admit, with starting seeds in my basement. They typically end up kind of leggy, which is due to a lack of light. But, you know, we're going to try this out here. So, I have some solutions to those that we're going to use. Let me just grab this little stick right here. This is, I think, what you can use to kind of break these apart. There we go. Let's get these upright. It looks like they're not expanding quite as well because they're kind of jammed in here for some of them. So, as I said, this is the Cocoa Choir. You know, so these are just your standard Cocoa Choir tabs. And these usually are pretty good at expanding. I wish they were all upright, though. I didn't realize that they would jam themselves together here in the bottom and not expand. So, but as I said, it is a learning process for me, too. I've never really used one of these before. I've always just used egg crates or, you know, different things like that in the past. But I thought I would try something a little bit different this time, since it was available at the store, and they did not have some of the other stuff that I wanted, which would have been seed starting mix, which I have never tried in the past, but has been highly recommended by all the channels that I've been watching lately, some of these gardening channels, on how to grow things, and they all recommend really using a seed starting mix because of the risk of cross-contamination with things, and which makes sense. You know, they're very gentle or delicate, these seeds, and they can't really take a lot of abuse. So, but all right, so we have over 30 of these trays right here. You know, 36 of them. So these are starting to really soften up, it looks like. Nice as they soak up this water. Maybe could have used a little bit more, but I think we'll be good here to hopefully get started soon. All right, so I decided to grab a little bit more water to add to here. Make sure that these things really expand all the way. I'm just worried about some of them don't look like they've really expanded. They should be a lot softer than that, so. All right, I think that might be good. It looks like the water's coming up in most areas. So it took quite a bit more water than I expected, but that's okay. Let's just poke some of these down, break them apart, make sure that they're nice and saturated and ready for planting. It is amazing how much water Cocoa Choir can hold. I have a video actually on that to show you what it can hold. It holds a lot of water. And there's a lot more of these tablets than I really thought about in here. So, all right, with this, I think this is almost ready for planting now. Let me just break these up a little bit more. All right, with that, I think we're ready to start planting. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to remove this tray from here. Going to let the water drip out. This tray's pretty heavy. I'm going to lay it into the other tray that I have for the lid, and I'm going to put this bottom piece and this back in. And put this back on top so everything's laid out properly. There we go. Now, what we're going to do is, using this little stick that we have, is I'm going to kind of level things off a little bit. Let's move this down just a little bit so you can see a little better. Just sort of leveling things off a little bit. But we're going to put a couple seeds for each. So the way I'm going to do this here is broccoli is going to go down this row, peppers down this row, and the rest of this is going to be lavender. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to mark this off right like that with a stick right here so I know which one is my pepper, broccoli, lavender. So let me grab the pepper seeds first. Actually, let me grab the broccoli seeds. We'll do this side first and we'll move our way over. So broccoli seeds first. Get these open here. I haven't even opened these yet. So here's my broccoli seeds. So we're not going to need that many. I'm going to be able to put some back here. But what you want to do, from what I've watched online, is you want to make a little hole in all of these. All right. And then what you want to do is you want to drop in 2 to 3 seeds. So I'm going to put in about 2 to 3 seeds in each hole. So hopefully one of them will come up. It'll increase germination chances. So I'm going to drop in 2 to 3 seeds in each hole. And that way, hopefully, one of them will take off. Because obviously, not every single seed is a viable seed. So you want to make sure you have extra chances, so that way you don't end up with none at the end of all this. So I'm going to put these seeds back in the container. So there we go. First row planted. I'm just going to kind of smooth these over just a little bit to kind of cover them up. I'm not going to cover them up a whole lot. So there we go. Those are ready. Now it's time to work on the pepper. All right, there we go. Peppers are ready. And these are the pepper seeds I'm using here. So they're multi-colors. Again, same thing. I'm going to add 3 to each one. This one I'm going to pour into my hand slowly and then add them. So I'm just going to dump them in here. As you can see, they're nice and bright white right now. If I can get 3 on there. 1, 2, 3. All right, let me just try a little bit here. So I'm really trying to be careful this time with really taking a better job of doing this. In the past, I've always been like, it'll grow because the soil's so good, but I have found that that is not the case. You know, they just seem to grow if they want to grow. And, you know, I always put in like 1 seed per hole and things like that. And I'm trying not to do that with this. So there we go. So there we go. There's the seeds for the peppers. I'm going to again cover those up. Not putting a lot over them, just a dusting really of dirt. If I can get them to stay down. And I don't want to use a whole lot because you know, you want them to be able to push up through pretty easily. So there we go. Those are now covered, and the rest is going to be lavender. So again, I've got to open up my lavender seeds here. This is the lavender that I have. It's English lavender. I've never tried growing lavender before. I think I've always bought plants. So this is a new process for me, but I figure we'll try it. Now, lavender seeds, let's just see here. These things are tiny. I did not realize how tiny they were going to be. So, you know, it says to barely cover these up. So, again, I'm going to do this. I don't think I'm going to make holes on these. I think I'm just going to move it around. These are so tiny. Some of these might be getting 4 seeds. It's really hard to just drop specific amounts here unless I grab exactly that many seeds. But these are tiny seeds. I mean, you can just see. I mean, they're really tiny here. All right, so that's it for the lavender seeds. So the water is already here, so I don't need to really worry about water. I'm just going to kind of mix these up a little bit. You know, you want to barely cover them, it says, so just moving this around. Some of them kind of bounced off to the sides. But there we go. I think this is good. Now, as I said, this has already been watered. There's water in the bottom of the tray. It's warm water. That should be fine. I'm going to put this right here at this end for now, so we can mark it. Now, the next part of this entire process, I'm just going to dump this water in off the lid, is I need to put this somewhere. And actually, I might have to take that out just to make it to make this work. Okay, so I'm going to have to take this out. I can't leave it right there, but I can put it right here behind it or in front. So now I have it where this stick, now it fell in. See if I can line this up here. I just wanted some way to mark off where, there we go. So I've got the stick right here. That's going to mark off which row has what. Now, the big thing with these seeds is I'm going to need some light. And I've got really good light where I'm standing right now, but this is not where I want to keep them. I don't want to keep them in my work area. So let's move to where I'm going to put these and show you the lights I'm going to use with them as well. All right, here is where I'm keeping my seeds, and it is right near this window. This is in my basement, which is why I've got insulation and, you know, the wood there and everything. I have a grow light over here, and then a grow light on this side as well. These are going to be on for 14 hours a day, and I have them plugged into, sorry for all the cables and everything, into this timer over here, so that way it'll keep track of the time and keep them going. And then I also have, for everyone, I'm going to record this with a time lapse on my GoPro, so that way we can see how these seeds do. As I said, it's March 10th, so we'll give them, you know, probably 3 to 4 weeks to see how they go. And at some point I might need a fan. I've heard that you need a fan to kind of get them acclimated to breezes and everything. And you know, these, by the way, also for these lights, I just have them hooked into buckets right now. That's how I'm holding them up. You know, if this is something that I do in the future, or, you know, want to do larger amounts of this, I'll probably do something in the basement that's a little bit more permanent. But I was sort of in a rush, and I have not been going to the store to get any more wood lately. So, but let's end this here, and we'll come back when there's some more progress, and hopefully we have all these seeds growing and we can pick through and get the ones we need. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment down below.